Hey guys, I'm Joe Hendricks, and a couple of you have asked me to review the Z6II a year after shooting it. I want to let you know that I'm filming on the Z6II. I have a dark coat on in the snow, so I'm curious to see how the focusing does because I don't use it for video very often. But as you can see, it's a snowy day in Montrose, and this is what I've been using the cameras in on a regular basis. Now, I shoot only elopements in Telluride, so take that in mind when I talk to you about how the cameras are working for me. I use a hold-fast moneymaker strap that hooks both of them in, so I can shoot one, then shoot the other. And a lot of times when I'm out in the snow and I have to jockey for position with snowshoes on, not a lot of times, but sometimes I will fall in the snow just because it's like super deep out there. And my cameras have been submerged multiple times. And I'm happy to say that they are still functioning well, 100%. They do really, really well. You know, while I'm thinking about it though, I will say that with the snow coming down, I haven't been using the face recognition focus for pretty much anything yet. I've tried it a couple times, but there are some instances where I don't like it because I'm shooting against the sun. And the sun is like directly behind them, and I just can't get a good face focus on them. So I've turned that on, and I use just regular autofocus with pinpoint autofocusing. And I do need to work on different autofocuses, especially with this camera that is supposed to do such a great job. But I will say that when I shoot in the snow, oftentimes it misses focus because it's focusing on all the flakes that are in front of me, and in fact it might even be doing that right now. So I just wanted to say that up front. But as far as weather sealing goes, I have the 7200 2.8 Z lens on here, and I have the 1.8 that I'm filming with right there. Both have been in the snow. Both cameras have been in the snow. They have both survived. I will say that since I bought these cameras a year ago, I've gotten new eyepieces because these eyepieces start drooping kind of up at the top. And when they do, there's a sensor here for your eye, and all of a sudden your camera doesn't show something on the back of your screen, and that's normally the reason why, is because maybe the heat or something made it droop. But I got these from Hoodman, and they're a little, they have a little cup on them, which is kind of nice, and they've been working really great, except for when I drop my camera in the snow. And then obviously it gets covered with snow, but all I do is blow on it, take this, kind of wipe the sensor free, and I can see again. So, anyways, they do really, really great in the snow. I have had no problems with them shooting in every single one of my elopements. Everything is tack sharp when I'm focusing on the right thing. When I continuously focus on somebody coming towards me, they work outstanding, but I'm the kind of person that, keep in mind, I move my focus point as they're walking towards me. So that's just the way that I do it. I'm old school, and I do need to learn the new ways. I have never gotten below 3/4 of a battery with these cameras. They work amazingly. When I take pictures, I'm always like shooting, and then I turn it off automatically. That's just what I do, and that saves the battery for a long time, and I've never had issues with the battery, even though I have 2 backup batteries just in case. And I'm making this up as I go, so this may be a little bit slow, we'll see. I'm always in manual focus for the most part, just because everything I need is outside, and I'm taking pictures the same way all day long. If I ever have to go inside and outside, I'll put it in aperture priority, usually at like a 2.8 or 3.5, but otherwise I just always leave it in manual. I haven't used any of the function buttons at all. I was using silent mode for a lot of my elopements, where I would get like super close to the couple, turn on silent mode, and then take pictures, and then come back, and then not have it on silent mode. But then I found out that couples didn't even realize that I was putting it in silent mode, and maybe it's just because they couldn't hear it or something. But I switched my settings because I had it right here And one of the best things about this camera is that you can just kind of customize everything, and I love that. But what I liked about this is I would customize it on my function 1 button, and I was accidentally hitting it, and I would just be in silent mode. I'm like, wait, am I taking pictures? And it would just throw me off. So I switched that so that it would not do that anymore. As far as custom modes go, basically all I have is well, as far as like display modes go, when I'm looking through the viewfinder, first of all, I love the electronic viewfinder. It has changed my game completely. I absolutely love it. And I don't know what I did without it before, but I will say that I always have my my highlights on because I want to see if I'm too hot or if I'm too dark in a scene. So I'm always having that setting on because it just adds a ton of comfort to me, knowing that I'm getting the shot no matter what. Because there are scenes where I'll be in a very bright, sunny place, or I'm in the middle of snow like this. And of course, here I am all dark and all the snow's super white around me. And there are times where in the viewfinder, I'm not really seeing whether or not I'm a clear, like if you can see all of me, or if I'm completely in shadows. I don't know. So seeing that little histogram highlight little thing in the viewfinder, it helps me out a ton. It is amazing, and it gives me absolute comfort that I'm getting the shot. And I'm the kind of person that does one shot with everything, so I'm always jockeying between the shadows and the highlights, and I want to make sure that everything's in range so that I can raise my shadows a lot or lower my highlights a lot. I don't want to combine 2 images and waste my time doing that crap, because to me it's just a waste of time for what I do. The 7200 has been an amazing lens, like it has always been with Nikon. That 35 1.8 has been an amazing lens. I love it. I would like to get something a little wider because I actually only have 2 cameras and I have 2 lenses, and I never switch the lenses. I don't ever want to switch them because I don't want to get anything inside my lenses and have to clean them like I used to do with my Z6II. I just don't really care to worry with that. And this is my whole entire income, so I'm happy with 2 cameras, 2 lenses. Never have to worry about it. Boom, it's awesome. I love the XQD cards. They are absolutely amazing. They are so fast. I've never had a problem with them. This door flies open every once in a while when I'm like getting it out of my bag. I hate that. I wish they would have found a different way to put this on there. But I love having the ISO button here. Super easy. It's very, very intuitive. I don't use the touchscreen much. As you can see, it's just getting pummeled in the snow right now. But I have no problem with that. It works amazing. But after using it for a year, it's wonderful. Now, I will say with landscape photography, every once in a while I'll go out and take some landscape pictures. There's a lot of comfort in landscape photography with this camera, and I'm sure the Z7II is exactly the same, or Z7 or Z6. But just being able to see the image on there exactly how it's going to be, it's just like clicking the back of this is awesome. I love it. Because I found myself a lot of times in situations where I'm having to get really low to the ground and like barely get my eye up to the viewfinder and take the shot. Just because maybe I'm getting a whole bunch of wildflowers in front of me, and then I want to get the mountains in the background. So it takes all those elements away to where I'm not like getting dirty and wet or whatever from the ground. It's more comfortable. That's what I'm trying to say. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, there aren't many issues. I will say though that as far as tracking people with continuous movement, you know, I find it is a little bit slow sometimes, but I'm shooting elopements up in the mountains and I'm not really shooting anything else, so I don't really have a lot of trouble with that. Every once in a while there'll be a dog at an elopement, and when there is, I find that the Z6II struggles to keep up with the dog. And like literally, it's just a dog, so it shouldn't struggle. But I was curious because I used to shoot dogs with my my Z750, my D750 a long time ago, and when I compared the tracking with the exact same autofocus points that I use with this camera and the D750, I do find that the D750 was actually a little slower, and I don't understand why. I'm actually noticing it a little bit more, but it does struggle to keep up with fast moving objects, and I don't like that. And I think if I was a sports photographer, I would definitely go with the Z9 or maybe a D850 or something like that, but I wouldn't go with the Z6II probably, just because it does struggle. But for what I do in the elopement photography, wedding photography world, it is absolutely amazing. One issue that just came to mind is when you put like when you put a Nikon flash on top of the camera, I have noticed that if you have it in silent mode, it doesn't work. At least it didn't for me. Maybe there's a setting that I don't know about, but I always had to put it in regular mechanical shutter mode, and it synced well with the flash, no problem. But the first time I ever put a flash on it, it was the SB 950, I think it is. I'm not using flash much anymore, so I really don't care if I got that right. But I couldn't get it on. I couldn't get the flash on, and I didn't know what was going on because I'd never experienced this issue before in my life. And I just shot it with natural light instead, and it worked fine. But as soon as I got home, that was the first thing I did. I went and checked, like, what is going on with this flash and this camera, and that's what it was. It was the mechanical shutter. These L brackets have been amazing, just turning them sideways, and they work on every single tripod I've ever tried them on. They are awesome. The buttons are just in perfect places. Like I said, it's been a year. I have used nothing but these Z6II cameras for about 40-45 elopements, and it's been amazing. And obviously freezing weather. We got about 10-11 inches today, and it's been amazing in hot weather. They're great cameras. They're great cameras, and I can tell they're gonna last me for a long time. I am trying to get a Z7II for my landscape work, just so I can print something a little bit bigger, and I'm talking about like huge, about 10 feet wide type of shot. And the Z6II can get pretty big on with the resolution and everything, especially when you're using software programs to make it better. But I just want the clarity of a Z7II eventually. And as you can see how the video is doing, I have no idea. I'm about to see it in a second. But the mic, I have a shotgun mic on top of it, and it does some of the best video I've ever seen, compared to the D750, which absolutely sucked at video. So if you're in the market to get a Z6II, it's a great camera. I'm not sponsored by Nikon. I just do this because a couple of you have said you want me to review this camera a year later, and I will say that it has blown me away. I do need to learn the autofocus options a little bit better. I'm an old dog, but I can learn new tricks. It's not a problem. And I'm sure it would help me out with facial recognition and stuff like that in the future. But yeah, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, comment below, and I'll try to get to them. But I'm not keen on doing these videos all the time. Just a few of you have asked, and I'm gonna deliver for you. Take care. I'm Joe Hendricks. You can see my work at elopetelluride.com or joehendricks.com.